I feel like for a long time, I was making decisions based off my anxiety without even realizing it. And lately, that's kind of been changing. I feel like my life for the last couple of years was really being controlled and taken over by my anxiety. And for a long time, I didn't even realize that that was the case. I slowly became way more introverted than I ever was before, or maybe introverted isn't the right word, way more of a homebody. I would stay in the house all the time. I would make plans with friends, excited to go out and hang out with them. And as those plans would approach, I would cancel, or there'd be a reason as to why I couldn't make it. I started avoiding things like everyday life things, going outside, getting fresh air, going to the grocery store. It was at the point where I couldn't actually leave the house. And if I did, I wasn't leaving the house on my own because it was just so overstimulating for me. And it made me so anxious and so uncomfortable with just the thought and fear that I could potentially have a panic attack outside in the real world. I stayed in my comfort zone, and my comfort zone was my home. Sometimes even my bedroom, the four walls, which is insane. But that's what anxiety will do to you. It gets you really in your head, and it makes it really hard for you to be able to go and do anything and live your life normally. It is rather debilitating, and I would constantly find ways to talk myself out of doing the things that I wanted to do. I would tell myself, well, if you do this, and this is going to happen, or what if this happens? And I would constantly play the what ifs and what I like to call going down the rabbit hole. And that is not a fun place to be because you become so overwhelmed and so overstimulated by all of these things that you're making up in your head that haven't even happened yet, just to be able to get your foot outside the door and do what you want or need to do. And that is really just so tedious and so tiring that it feels like you're running and you can't catch your breath. And still to this day, I battle with it. I don't know if that will ever fully go away. Anxiety is something that is ingrained in us. It's kind of like your flight or fright moment that has been instilled in us from forever. And I talked to my therapist about this quite a lot, of course, but she basically always says that the brain is stupid and the brain has not learned that we do not necessarily need some of these things that we go through. I think anxiety is still important because that is your body's way of responding, but it doesn't understand sometimes what it needs to respond to, is how she tried to explain it to me. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but how she explained it made sense to me, and it made for a better understanding as to why my body was responding the way it was responding. It just got locked into this constant state of fright or flight. Do I need to fight, or can I just run away from this situation? How do I save myself in this moment? And it just got stuck in this loop of constantly every day was a battle, and everything was, do I need to fight or run? Fight or run? What do I need to do in this situation? So as you can imagine, that is very tiring. Now, I have been dealing and battling with this for a long time now. It became more prevalent to me and more obvious that I was struggling when the big 2020 hit and the COVID entered the chat. And then we locked down, and I was like, what is going on? I've never experienced anything like this in my lifetime. And I think all of that mixed with the uncertainty of what this disease was, because we really didn't know a whole lot of information. There was no cure for it. There's still not a cure for it that I'm aware of. It was scary, right? And then you're put into this immediate isolation where you're not around people. Your everyday life, what you knew as normal, was no longer normal. I had no reason to care or know what day of the week it was. I had no reason to get up and get dressed. I mean, it really changed how I moved in life, how I looked at things. I think it did a couple of things that were good for me. Like, it really was an eye opener to realize that my time is getting spent doing things that I do not enjoy way more than it's being spent doing things that I loved. And so I really kind of took that and ran with that and did nothing but sit down, eat snacks, and play video games. And probably read books. I can't really recall. I just remember staying up all night and day and sitting at my couch playing Animal Crossing. If you remember that, you know, you know. And that, I felt like I was living. I thought I was living and I was thriving. I was feeling good until we got the call that it was time to go back to work. Instantly felt this sudden feeling of just doom creep in, and I was just grasping for one more moment, one more day. I didn't want to lose my freedom, and being around people sounded terrifying to me because COVID was not gone. I had yet to have gotten COVID. I feel like, at least a year with COVID being out before I actually even got COVID. And to me, I don't know if I've shared this here already, so I'll share it now, but one of my fears or triggers when it comes to anxiety is health related stuff. When something is wrong with me, I instantly get really in my head and I freak out about it. And so the potential of getting sick with this disease and not knowing how it was going to respond, like how my body was going to respond. Was I going to be okay? Was I going to need to be in the hospital? Could I have passed away from this? Like, there were so many thoughts that were running through my head that I think the idea of going back to work really scared me. And so the time came, I went back to work, and I was not having a good time. And so that's really where the anxiety just skyrocketed. Just for the little background information, that is where my anxiety really took off, and I was no longer able, I feel like, to deal with my anxiety in a way where I could kind of say, I notice that you're there, but I'm over here doing this. I'm not going to pay attention to you right now. I just didn't have the ability to do that. And so quite early on, my anxiety latched on to work. And that meant going to work. I was anxious 24/7. I was anxious while I was at work. The only time I felt like I could breathe was when I was home. And when you work 5 days out of the week, 8 hours a day, there really for 9 hours, that's a lot. That's a lot of time to spend being anxious and stressed out. And not good for your body, mind you. So I did all the things that I told you before. I would make plans and cancel them. I would slowly start pulling myself away. I would isolate myself. I wasn't even doing the hobbies that I loved and enjoyed anymore. It really just slowly started to make this change where I just became so wrapped in the anxiety that my anxiety would latch onto every little thing and would make it extremely difficult for me to just live my life. And all of a sudden, there has been a shift. So I'm actually interrupting the video right now because I'm in the middle of editing this video. And I wanted to briefly just hop in and say it didn't just like magically start shifting. I think the way how I say this here makes it sound a little bit misleading. But it felt like a drastic change happened almost overnight. But really, I was just actually truly seeing the benefits of all the hard work that I had been doing over the course of the last few years. Been doing a lot of therapy, a lot of journaling, meditations, going back into doing my hobbies, getting outside, being with my friends, working out, drinking water. Like, I've been doing a lot of things that I needed to do to take care of myself, to focus on me and less about the anxiety or the things that made me feel overstimulated or triggered. And those things are still there. They still exist. But I'm working really hard every single day to lean into the things that I love and enjoy and the things that make me happy more than the things that overwhelm me. Some days it's easier than others, but that is a practice that I have been doing, and that is honestly what has helped me. But I will say, I think the shift really happened on my second leave of absence, which was last summer. I took my second leave, I believe, in July, some point in July of 2025. And I told myself, this time you are going to thrive. You are going to push yourself to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself, but to make life fun again, to enjoy your life. You're here and you're getting this experience that some people do not get, and you need to experience it. And I just kept telling myself, if that is what you want, then you and only you can be the one to be able to achieve that. And that was not easy. There was a constant battle with myself to push myself to get and step out of my comfort zone. And it still is that way for me now. But I did something, and this is going to sound really probably not that big of a deal, but it was a big deal for me as someone that was not even able to really get themselves out of the house. I started making myself go to the pool. I wouldn't wait for Anthony. If I was home and felt the urge to go to the pool, I would make myself go. Even if I was there for 20 minutes, I would make myself go, and I'd bring my book with me. I'd get in the water. I would come out and I'd read a little bit, and then I would kind of see how I was feeling. And if I was ready to go, I would go. But I pushed myself to do it. And that felt so liberating because I'm a big swimmer. I love the water. I love pools. I love the ocean. And I was depriving myself of those things that I enjoyed. So I pushed myself to do it, and it felt great. And let me tell you guys, that was the best 2 months of my life, the best summer I have had in a long time, because I truly just tried to enjoy every second that I had. And I was pushing myself to go out and do things that I just normally wouldn't do. I was tired of feeling stuck and isolated, and tired of secluding myself from living these amazing experiences that I would never know that I would experience if I didn't push myself. I went to a book event last summer. Like, there was just so many things that I felt like I got to enjoy that I wouldn't have normally enjoyed. And normally what happens is a thought will come into my head where it's like, oh, you're excited to do this. Should we do this? And I was tired of asking myself that question. Even now, I still hear that question and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. If it's hard, if I end up not being able to handle it, then I can leave. I have free will. I can leave whenever I want. And the faster and sooner I realized that, the easier it became to overcome those hurdles, those challenges that I was facing. And I have to say, I felt great doing that. Like, that was, again, so liberating to be like, I hold the power in my hands to make this choice for myself. I can either sit here and be depressed and sad and anxious and continue to go down that rabbit hole, wishing that I would have gotten a chance to do this one thing that I really wanted to do or have this experience this summer. Or I could just go out there and actually live and do it. And if it's hard, try my best. And if I can't, or if it's too much, I can go home. I can leave. Who would have thought? That is a crazy thing that I had to teach myself that. But I'm glad that I did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be out and still living my life and having good times with friends and family and just... I cry. It makes me happy. That thought to tell the brain to quiet down. Sometimes your brain is not very nice to you, and you have to tell your brain to shut up. My therapist asks me that all the time. Do you ever tell your brain to shut up? And I'm like, no. So what am I doing differently? Giving myself that escape route, giving myself the okay to leave is okay. And it's more than enough. also started doing things that I actually enjoy. I started getting back into my hobbies, been going outside more. Guys, I cannot tell you, they do not lie to you. When they say getting outside, going for a walk can cure, they're not joking. I find myself more and more craving being outside and being in the fresh air and experiencing the sun on my skin. Oh my gosh, guys, I became vitamin D deficient because I just wasn't getting outside. You need the sun. You need the sun. Don't deprive yourself of that. Like, if you look outside and you're like, wow, it's a beautiful day, I want to go outside and enjoy it, then go outside and enjoy it. And if you're out there and you're like, oh, it's too much, it's okay to go home. It's okay to take a break. Go sit in your car. It's okay to go to a safe spot or create a safe zone when you're out and about. Tell a friend if you're hanging out with them that, hey, I'm struggling right now. Do you mind if we go find a quiet place to sit down? That is okay. And if they're your real friends, they will do it. Trust me. One of my favorite hobbies that I got back into recently is baking. And it doesn't require me to leave the house or go outside or any of those things, but I wasn't baking. And now I've been baking like a crazy person and trying new recipes. I made my mother-in-law a 3-tier chocolate cake. Now it's not done. She ended up getting sick with a stomach bug. So I haven't finished putting it together. I made one of my best friends Biscoff cinnamon rolls for her birthday. I've just been baking up a storm, and I think for my birthday this year, I'm going to make my own cake. I'll show you the inspiration of what I want to do. We'll see if that's what I end up going with, but something that's kind of like fruity sounds good. So I don't know, I've just been enjoying it, but bringing back these little hobbies that I love has been really helpful. I've been playing games. One game in particular is Dreamlight Valley. I've also been reading. I love my reading. I picked up a new hobby too. I haven't talked about this yet. I picked up a couple new hobbies. I've been trying to get into crocheting. That's been taking some time, but I also picked up this. I'm going to consider this a hobby. You guys tell me if you think it's a hobby or not, but I think it is. Let me grab this. So I was in Marshall's. I'm pretty sure it was Marshall's with my mother-in-law like 2 weekends ago. I've been really looking at a lot of vlogs where people are going analog, they're buying more physical media, and they're talking about how we don't own anything anymore and just how good it is to physically own things, have things that are tangible that you can touch and hold and stuff like that. And I've been really inspired by that. And I think ultimately at some point I would like to do some kind of video where I document what things I'm bringing into my life that are making my life feel more analog. But I had seen this photo album and I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful. And I actually would really love a photo album. I remember growing up as a kid, my mom had tons of photo albums, and I used to love looking through them and just seeing all of these memories and things that I experienced but didn't remember, or things that I wasn't here for, that I actually got to look back on and see, like just seeing my parents before they were parents and things like that. And so I was like, I want that. And if I ever have kids, I want to be able to give them that as well, because everything is way too accessible now that I'm just trying to find any way to slow things down. So I got into creating a photo album and I'm loving it. This one I think can fit like 300 photos. Yeah, 300 photos. So I've been slowly trying to fill this out. I still have a lot more to go, of course, but this has been such a fun hobby. And so if you're looking for something that's really simple, but can fill your time and feel, I think, like really relaxing and nice, where you could listen to an audiobook, or you could put on your favorite TV show in the background, or your favorite comfort YouTuber. Me, maybe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Yeah, I don't know. I think this just would be something that's really easy that you can do to fill your time. And it's going to feel so fulfilling once I'm done with this. So It's kind of like scrapbooking and stuff. I feel like, I don't know. That's just been some stuff that I've been getting back into, and I am really grateful for it. I've been really, really enjoying it. I think the key thing is allowing things to be imperfect and being okay with it. Not everything needs to have a solution. You don't need to have the answer for everything. If something doesn't go the way that is planned, that is okay. Most things don't go the way that you plan them. And that control that I needed to have, I had and have to slowly remember and remind myself that that control is not real. It doesn't exist. You really don't have control over much of anything other than how you respond to things. Now, of course, with all those things that I have mentioned in terms of what I'm doing differently, how life was before, it doesn't mean that things are perfect. In fact, they're far from perfect. And I don't strive for perfectionism. I don't strive for perfect. I don't strive for everything to be, happy cheesy butterflies all day long. Like I don't strive for that, but I strive to make changes and continue to empower myself to live my life the way that I want to live it. And if I'm tired, allow myself time to rest, but you don't need to stay the whole day in bed. Just the little things, the little improvements, the little ways that I talk to myself. How you talk to yourself is extremely important. And this is still something that I'm very much working on. I would always talk in a more negative tone to myself where it's like, okay, well, if I do this, and this would happen. But none of those things would be positive. I would wake up and say, oh, I have to go to work today. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful day outside. I'm so grateful to be here. So how I talk to myself is still a work in progress. But in those moments where I'm really struggling, that is when it becomes extremely helpful. It helps me push past what I'm feeling. And if I can't do that, then I tell my brain to shut up. So that's been really, really helpful. And I'm just really grateful. And I'm hoping for a really nice summer, whatever that may look like, whether that means that there will be vacations, outings, doesn't matter. I just want to go out there and enjoy life. It's so lovely to go out there and experience life and be around other people, be in nature. I'm still figuring it out, but I feel a little bit more like myself each day, and I'm so grateful for that. And it's a really nice feeling. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you want any tips or tricks on what I am doing or have been doing to just make things a little bit more manageable and easier, then let me know in the comments down below, and I can give you guys all of the different things that I've tried, resources that I've used to make things a bit easier. But I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.